And welcome to the Tile Happy Hour. You know what time it is. It's Tuesday night. It's 8 o'clock. And we are here to talk about tile, stone, and all the things in the industry that you know and love. We hope that you could join in. We're looking at some of your comments live, and we hope to see you, and we hope to answer those comments. And when I say we, I mean my good friend down in up in New York City, John, as my daughter calls him, John Tiddly Desco. John, how are you today?
Doing great, Craig. So happy Tuesday. This is the Tile Happy Hour. I'm really excited that so many things are happening. September is a crazy month because
September's almost gone. What are you talking about? I feel like the summer just started. What happened?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Well, September is crazy inherently because everything like personally that you want to do around the house or wherever, you kind of say, let me do it in September, and get through the summer. Business wise, so many meetings, so many conferences.
Into the third quarter.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And this is the last week of the month. I can't believe October is like upon us.
I can't either. I know we are a fall family. My family we adore the fall. So we are, my daughter wanted to go shopping and decorate the house. There's pumpkins everywhere. There's new candles being switched out. So, and of course it's still 90 degrees here, but still fall is coming. We are, my wife and I are horror movie fans. So it's that time of year where we can, watch horror movies and, cuddle up on the couch. So I'm excited about fall. I love fall. And also in, the next couple of weeks is one of my classes, in Inwood. So I'll be coming to see you in, 2 weeks.
We'll get the band back together. Let's do some creative stuff together in person. That would be great. So, horror movies. Are you like the gory, like, Texas Chainsaw, or are you?
I like them all.
Twilight Zone, or Birds?
Yeah, I like them all. The older I get, the more I lean towards the suspenseful. Sixth Sense. All those things. We're in the car, when we travel together, my wife and I, normally we're reading a book. Odds are 9 times out of 10, it's a Stephen King novel. Just,
okay.
So we like a little bit of the horror. I'm a little old for the gore and stuff, but it doesn't bother me. Probably
gratuitous violence.
I used in New York. That's like every day.
Yeah, that's just the commute.
That's right.
Yeah, there's also suspense because you're like, okay, is that person drunk? Is that person just dangerous?
Out of their mind?
Yeah, exactly. So there's suspense too. Is that person going to push me on the front of the train? It's like everything's possible in New York City. Yeah, and what's that smell? That's a whole nother suspense.
That could be a game show. That should be one of our tile segments. What's that smell? We'll come up with some cool music.
Oh God, yeah. Don't remind me. I'll be in the city in the morning. So yeah. You mentioned Sixth Sense. You know what? That is one of my favorite movies, and it's not like a favorite movie that I've watched more than once. Maybe I've seen it twice, but that was the first movie like that where I really was blown away. I didn't know like the way they did it. I did not know until the end, like what was, that it was, it was amazing. I'm actually going to see that again.
Yeah. It was a great, suspense. I mean, M. Night Shyamalan's pretty talented and how he writes that stuff. So I definitely one of my favorites. He's had some that are, maybe not as good, but that's okay. I tell you one, and I know this is the Tile Happy Hour, even though we're talking about horror movies.
Well, we've talked about a lot of horrible installations, so this is kind of
that's right.
It's kind of there's a parallel.
Yeah. One of the best endings of a thriller type movie is The Mist. If you've ever seen it.
Oh no, I haven't. So don't tell me about it.
It'll wreck you. The
Really?
ending of this movie will
All
it's
right, don't give me any hints, but so
yeah.
give me the type of movie. Is it suspense only? Is it gore? Is it
No,
violence?
it's not gore. It is one of those
The Mist.
kind of like a monster movie, but you don't really know what's going on.
All right.
And it's a group of people and they're stuck.
All right. That's all I want to know. I'm the type I don't want to I'm the type of person doesn't want to read like if I know I'm going to see a movie, I
Yep.
don't even watch the trailer. I don't want to read a review. Uh I just want to be as just
Yeah, makes sense.
uh,
As pure, go in as pure as you can.
exactly. And yeah, so now between now and Halloween, I will watch The
Yeah,
Mist.
watch The Mist. It's good, and
Right.
and it's an older movie, so some of the CG is kind of hokey, but
Right.
the story, just stick with the story.
And learning about Alfred Hitchcock, what was amazing about him is that he was able to create these suspenseful movies and horror
Yeah,
movies without gore.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, it was all left to your imagination, even in the shower scene, right? I mean, you didn't see the person getting stabbed. Maybe you saw some blood, some
yep.
screams, some music, birds.
And I'm not sure who said it. It may have been Hitchcock that said the imagination is more gory and more
Oh,
creative than, and if you set it up correctly, it can be just as terrifying. And he was great at that.
yeah.
It's great, um, great movies, great stories, and but
So
anyway, you
I think this should be our other podcast. Talk about anything but tile.
anything but tile. But if
That's the
you're
name
here
of it.
for
That's the name
tile,
of it.
this is the tile happy hour. John and I have been in the tile probably combined, close to
300
three
years.
quarters of a century.
Yeah.
And you may be watching us on YouTube, LinkedIn, well, I don't know. Instagram's so weird. You may not be watching on Instagram. TikTok. I don't know. I got TikTok live right now. We got a few people just kind of watching the filming.
All right.
If you're on TikTok and you have Tile and Stone questions, I'll answer those live here. But we just love the tile industry, and that's why this podcast has started. So whether you're watching live or on a playback, leave us a comment. Let us know. Maybe you want to be in an episode. Let us know what to talk about. Or maybe you've been stumped by your tile setter and you want an answer, or you're trying to do it yourself and you want some pointers. So that's what we're here for, just to kind of go through that. And John's kind of got the sales side of things wrapped up. He's been in all parts of the business. I was a commercial installer for 20 plus years. I've seen it all just about. I don't claim to know it all, but I know where to find it.
Yeah. Well, we talked about a busy month. So you had, the tile nerds of the world. What do they do in September? They travel to a specialty thin setting manufacturing plant.
That's
I don't know
right.
what you call it.
Tell
us about your trip.
Yeah, it has. We've both been traveling a lot lately. If you've noticed, there's been a few encore episodes. And I will say last week at this time, I was in Aliquippa, PA.
Wow.
And toured the ARDEX plant and went through a couple of days with our management team looking at some new technology and talking about that. I got a little video. You want to see it?
I would love to see it because I didn't get a chance to ask
Yeah,
about
it's quick, so maybe we'll let it roll a couple of times.
Yeah,
and I have no idea if the sound is going to be on. So if the sound is not on, I'll just sing the song that is in the background.
All right. Sound is on.
So it's a quick video. It's just like a little recap video, and
so who from the tile bar team was there? Mario, I see.
Yep. There's Mario there, and we had 3 of our sales managers. Well, actually, 2 sales managers. Steven from Texas, Krista, which is kind of the inside DAG, a little bit of everything rep. She lives in Florida, and we had Tessa, who is our director. Kind of all of our hardscapes, so all the exterior stuff that outside. Steven and Tessa are relatively new to the tile bar family, but Yeah, great additions. And Krista is newly, and I'm not sure how new that is, but she just moved up into that position that she's in now.
Yeah.
And it was, I had been to this class before or been to this plant before, and it was a different experience because last time I went, if you don't know it, and John, I'm gonna blow your mind with a couple of facts.
All right.
ARDEX is probably the number one seller of patching and leveling materials in the world. Yeah, that's not even the one I'm going to blow your mind on.
Oh, okay.
And that's the reason I went several years ago. I was actually working for a carpet company, and most all carpet companies know the term feather finish. Feather finish. I mean, they make. Gosh, I'm going to quote that. I should have wrote the number down. It comes in an 8-pound, 10-pound, 8 or 10-pound bag. I think they said they make 30,000 bags a day.
Wow.
Just in Aliquippa, and they have 5 plants across the country. So that's how often that's used. And I will say, we're Talbar's big Latticrete fans, and there's really in the top tier of setting materials. As long as you're buying the right stuff to match your right material,
right.
you're going to have good. And I thought some of their technologies there it was very different, and the tile and stone stuff. But last time when I was there, I was looking at the self-leveling and moisture mitigation stuff, which is more closely related to the soft flooring industry, which I have really nothing to do with now. But Jeremy was there. I don't know if you caught him in there. Jeremy, our EVP of LVT.
The man with the best title in the company.
Best title in the company, just because, it is a big name in the soft flooring.
He heard there was going to be free dinner.
Yes, there was free dinner. And dinner, I'm sorry, ARDEX, you guys did a great job, but the dinner was second rate at best. It was pretty awful.
Hey, you can't be good at everything.
They can't be good at everything. I even overheard our hosts that were there. They're like, we're never going there again. So,
well, look, it is Pennsylvania. It's not New York. Wait. So you mentioned feather finish. Is that like a brand name, or is that a very specific description of an end result of a product? Where does feather finish come in?
It is a brand name for their aggregate-less. Say that 10 times fast. Patch material. So what you can do with that material, and what you have to do, especially in soft flooring, VCT, LVT, any mess up in your substrate is telescoped through. Yeah. So when you have a dip or a patch or something, you just can't go over it. So the feather finish you can take down to a knife edge. That's how you can patch it out.
The absence of aggregate allows you to get to that point.
And in the tile industry, you don't need that because you have mortar, and the mortar makes up for that. But when you're gluing something down almost directly,
you have a substrate. 2 millimeter thick or thin rather, LVT product. You don't want it to telegraph or telescope through.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So feather finish is something aggregate less. Is it considered self-leveling, or is that not
patch? No, it's considered a patch.
So
here's the first nugget of mind-blowing.
All right.
It is ARDEX invented self-leveling.
Really?
I think that's what it says on Wikipedia. I have not fact-checked it. I mean, you can fact-check me live if you like. I know that is a popular term in today's world.
Yeah, right.
But I've not been, but they said,
ABC's on it right now. They're fact-checking you.
That's right. ABC, the Hune guys, he's working on it. I kind of feel like I got a haircut right before. I mean, literally right before we went live, and I feel like my forehead got bigger. I don't know what happened. I'm a little self-conscious. I feel bad. In the chat, if my forehead got bigger, just let me know what sort of advertising I can put up there.
Yeah, if you've got sometimes that happens. Sometimes I eat certain foods and my clothes they shrink. I don't know why. It's so weird.
But that was their claim to fame. The ARDEX is a German company. And
I did not know that.
You didn't know that? Yeah, yep. ARDEX is a German
Wow.
company. They were founded, invented in Germany, and kind of their claim to fame with their German technology was
See,
self-leveling.
Ardex is a very simple company name, so that threw me off because usually the German companies, they're not easy to say.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I was thrown by that. I did not. So they actually started in Germany
Hmm.
and they expanded to the US. Wow.
In
I used to deal
1978, they came to the
okay.
U.S.
I dealt with them, you know, when I had my tile stores, I had a distribution company. I
Hmm.
sold to other tile stores, contractors, developers, and we went to Ardex for strictly like some specialty issues. Like we knew they had, you know, some real technical problems.
Yeah.
But that was that maybe was maybe in the 90s started dealing with them, but they really had a good reputation for even in the construction industry, right? People
Hmm.
that are doing concrete work. They have a lot of,
Yep.
I don't know what this called, problem solving material or
Yeah, that's exactly what it is
yeah.
problem solving. I mean, one of the biggest things they do in the soft flooring industry, not to mention the patch stuff, is they have moisture mitigation materials. And if you know soft flooring any at all, moisture and the adhesives for the moisture, they don't, or the adhesives for the VCT or LVT or whatever don't mix well. So they have some really high test and pretty pricey moisture mitigation things. So if you've got a basement, and we don't have basements in Raleigh, North Carolina, but up where you are, if you've
You
got a
guys have
basement,
bathrooms like outhouses only or regular
yeah,
bathrooms in the
outhouses
house?
only.
Okay.
Outhouses only. The water table here is too low. If you dig down 5 feet, you're going to hit the water.
Uh-huh.
But if you've got a basement and your wall sweat or your floor sweats, it's not necessarily pouring water. They've got a mitigation material they can put on that, and it'll block it. I mean,
So mitigate. I'm just trying to understand the wording. So the mitigate part means you're mitigating the moisture problem.
correct. You're
Got it. So I
and
learned
and it's
something.
the moisture has to go somewhere, but what it does is it clogs everything up in that basement, and it pushes it away from the house. But
Wow.
it's pretty technical, and
I learned something really, and I
it's
also
pretty
learned that
neat.
you had you had plumbing in the Carolinas.
Yeah,
I didn't know
we got
that.
plumbing down here. Yeah, it's good.
Wow.
All right, you ready for the second mind blowing?
I can't handle it. I got to have a drink again.
All right,
I
so
need to prepare myself.
we all know the history of Latacrete,
Yeah.
and how not Henry, not David.
Rothberg,
Yes,
Henry, David,
Henry David.
Henry. Is it Henry?
Is it Henry?
I think Henry is the maybe founder or the son
I'm
of the
thinking the founder.
yeah.
Mr. Rothberg is what we'll
Yes.
call him. That is appropriate. He added latex to cement to create a thin set mortar.
So they claim to invent thin set.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I was being a smart ass at the little dog and pony show.
Shocking.
Yeah. So we're all sitting around, and we're learning about their different thin sets and stuff. And they're
Right.
like, our thin sets are different. I'm like, well, how? And they're like, well, we have polymers. I said, everybody has polymers. They said, no, we invented polymer modified thin set. I said, no, you didn't. Latacrete did. And they said, no, Latacrete invented latex modified thin set. And then I'm thinking, are we just playing with semantics here? Because isn't latex and polymer the same thing? I never got an answer to that question. But so
latex. I'm trying to think of all the different thin sets like Dorabond D4, the one step, Dorabond D40, some pay products like Carabond,
Keralastic
is
which is a latex,
latex additive. But I think it's called, I think it's a polymer. I'm not sure now.
I'm not either. And I didn't get, of course I couldn't monopolize the conversation. Well, I could have, I guess, but
it's not nice to call out your hosts,
Exactly. So, but that was interesting, so and I think this happens a lot. Maybe people are working on similar things at similar times, and
Yeah.
there's discrepancies. They say the Wright there's people that are saying that the Wright brothers weren't the first in flight, but it is, because it's on our license plates.
Exactly.
So there.
Yeah, Oh yeah, we talked about that. I was in Kill Devil Hills. Isn't that what a museum is?
That is where the museum is, and that is where they took the first flight in Kill Devil Hills and the Outer Banks of North Carolina, which got washed away like
really?
3 weeks ago. I mean, they had all sorts of flooding there. It was pretty rough.
Wow. So I don't know. I think I would tend to think that polymer, because I've heard things being called polymer modified without using the word latex. Polymer modified thin set, and I've heard of latex modified.
I guess I could pull out the TCNA manual and see, but we're live. That's probably, it's not the time to do it. But overall, I'll just say, ARDEX. We're going to partner with ARDEX on some stuff, and the great thing about our partnership with ARDEX is it is nationwide.
Yeah, that's great.
And John's in New York, I'm in North Carolina, but we also have
we have boots on the ground everywhere in the country.
We got boots on the ground.
Absolutely.
And somebody even asked this question, and I didn't know the answer to it, so I had to look around like I did. How sometimes when you're in a group of your peers, you look around like, I know the answer, but do you? So I had that face on because I didn't know the answer, but they asked, what about Alaska and Hawaii? And I was thinking to myself, do we need stuff in Alaska and Hawaii? And if we need a rep in Hawaii,
Alaska, I'm not interested.
Hawaii,
I'm interested.
Hawaii's definitely, I think, a much needed. But I guess sometimes we do have projects that maybe are designed here and shipped there.
We ship. I mean, we ship all over the world. I just shipped tile from New Jersey to Spain for a cruise ship.
Nice.
And the tile was made in Italy, so that was a little inefficient, but nonetheless, it was a sale. It was good, but I don't, I'm not complaining. Yeah, we ship all over, Canada, for example. We do a lot in the Caribbean and Mexico.
Yeah.
I've not seen or heard anything in Alaska. You got to think they're not using much tile in Alaska. And I'm sure our perception of Alaska is probably wrong, but I don't visualize like these super nice homes. I think it's a little more rural.
Igloos.
Yeah.
Can we set tile in igloos?
Yeah. Well, do we have a thin set that we could set at -23?
I bet we can figure something out.
All right.
I bet we can figure something out. But yeah, so it was. Thanks for asking. It was a great time. We're rolling this partnership out kind of to our managers, and but if you're out there and you're watching and you want ARDEX, reach out to our salespeople. They know how to get it. We can have it today. I mean, it's not.
The moral of the story is, if you're doing a tile or stone or LVT project, and you have a straightforward project or you have some real tricky situations, reach out to our sales team, because between Laticrete and between ARDEX, the two leaders in the industry on setting materials and problem solving material, we have the solution. We have access to the full lines of products, and we will be glad to, and we have access to the technical data between Craig and our Tile Bar tech team, which is Craig, and our and the tech teams at the respective factories. They have some massive R&D knowledge behind them, because these companies are more laboratories than they are manufacturing plants.
Absolutely. Right? That was one of the best parts of, we took a tour of the plant, which and I love the R&D stuff where they've got all the grout colors there and they're testing them to make sure this batch is going to match that shade, and making sure that the thin set, once it cures, is going to meet the breaking strength. And and that's not unique to this plant. All of them do it, and that's why. And it's sad for me to say, as a contractor, that 95% of the issues with installations, it is the installer. So you if you're an installer, keep learning. Always keep learning.
Well, the thing is this, Craig, that the products have evolved so much, and thanks to innovation, thanks to competition, And thanks to the ingenuity of the whole industry, not only in the U.S., a lot of products, in Italy, they dream at night how to make tile better, like, and how to make,
Absolutely.
grout better. And the more these products evolve, the less the more it's clear that if there's a failure on the job, that something with either the installer himself or something to do with the job site,
Yeah. Could be
something.
the environment. We'll
The
just
environment is a good
wrap
word,
that around there. Yeah.
but we do ask a lot of the installers because we keep throwing, the technology gets better, but they're not installing 8x8 tile and 4x4 tile. So the technology gets better. So let's throw at them, 24x48 tiles. Let's
Yep.
give them planks of porcelain that is 8 by 72 inches long. Let's give them a tile that's porcelain fused with glass on top, and let's install it to a metal wall. Let's submerge it in a pool, in Mexico, and let the 100 and whatever degree weather shine down on it. So we keep increasing the capabilities, but then we keep pressing the outer limits of what you can use, where you can use it. And in all of those scenarios, Craig, there's like a trial point, like when glass tile came out, right?
Yeah. We
Everyone
talked
screwed
about
up.
this, and we get that as in the field, or you as salespeople, and I hear this a lot. Hey, Jose, good to see you. Been a long time. Sorry I hadn't seen you. That's Jose from he follows us on the TikTok. Thanks. But we talked a little bit about this, and this really kind of disproves that excuse that you hear in the field all the time. I know it's your tile because I've been doing this for 25 years.
Right.
You hear that all the time, but maybe they have, but the material that you're installing today is a completely different material than you were installing 25 years ago. And God forbid, 50 years ago.
This is true. And I've seen a lot of seasoned tile installers do some things that were a little unorthodox then, and even still a little unorthodox now.
Yeah.
Without a job failure. It doesn't mean it's going to fail. So when contractors say, I've always been doing it this way, say a guy's doing a shower waterproof, he's doing a shower and he's not using all the modern, techniques and systems, but he's been doing it for 25 years and never had a callback. There are other factors built in that. So it doesn't mean there's a failure. The problem is when you do have a failure, then it's all on you that you didn't use those methods, and you didn't kind of troubleshoot it ahead of time. And with all the technological advances now, it's a shame that not everybody embraces all these new technologies.
It's all about the continual learning, and that's why ARDEX and Latacrete and these reputable companies have these times where you can train, whether it's online or whether it's in person. Because all right, pop quiz time. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. You just had a client that bought statuary Carrera, that's got a really great white background and some very, some Venantino, some gray veins.
All right.
The installer installs it, a whole wall, 150 square feet, all in one day. They pack up and they leave, and the owner gets home and hasn't been there all day. And they walk into the bathroom and they look at the tile. What is the logical?
The tile's going to look dark. Thing? The tile's going to look dark.
Right. And tell me why the tile looks dark.
Primarily, could be two reasons. If you used a gray thin set on a white tile, perhaps, but more likely than not, it's moisture escaping the thin set, penetrating into the stone, making the stone hopefully most likely 99% temporarily dark, because most stones, when it's wet, it'll darken up, like when you're on a beach and you have a gray rock and then you wet it, all of a sudden it's like a black rock.
How often do you hear that from your clients?
I haven't I mean, less and less, and I think
Less
that's
and
where
less.
the polymer stuff comes in and all that, because I think maybe prevents that a little. I don't know if that's
All right.
true.
Are you ready for your mind to be blown again?
Yes.
All right, here you go. Here, I think this video is kind of quick, so we may have to watch a couple times. But all right, get ready, digest. This blew my mind, and
All right.
I'm a nerd on this stuff.
So this is one piece of granite set. Left-hand side is the ARDEX material with the self-drying technology. The right is a normal thin set. As you see, the moisture is hydrating through the thin set, changing the color of the stone. In some materials, this does bring to the face iron spots and other things that may not go away in time.
Well, you're not saying the right side is permanent, are you?
No, it's not permanent.
Right.
But the left side never changed. I don't know if
So this is one piece of granite set. Left-hand side is the ARDEX material with the self-drying.
I can't pause it. But
that's pretty cool. So that's kind of a cool thing to show. I'm assuming it's not a problem that something gets darker temporarily, is it?
Not only if, sometimes you have those stones that maybe aren't your top tier stones, and maybe they've got a fissure or something, or maybe some iron spots that are minute materials in there.
So what you're saying is the left side moisture is not really going through, so it's not gonna like interact and therefore potentially cause a reaction because the water is not getting in there. And the right side, it's getting wet, 90-something%, never cause a problem. But you're saying if you want a stone not to get wet because of some inert materials in there, or what's the opposite of inert? Organic? Or is that the same? Is that the same? Inert?
I don't know. Don't quiz me. I don't.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, there is some stone. Well, green marble, certain green marbles, right? You know that historically.
This won't cause green marble to curl. So because the moisture, and it's sorcery to me. I don't know. They didn't show me a diagram of how it works, but none of the moisture goes through the stone. For somehow in their sorcery wizard studio, the mortar takes the moisture and holds on to it and I don't know if it absorbs it. I don't know what it does, but it doesn't go through the stone. And just like you were saying, 9 times out of 10, the next day or with good ventilation, a stone installation will clear up. But if you do have that green marble that is moisture sensitive, or that some stone that may have some iron spots in it, because when you have those, the water hits it and it stains the stone, and there's not a ton you can do about it. You can try to get it out, but this saves you from that. This is their self-drying. They call it self-drying technology, but I was amazed. I've never seen that.
I can't imagine how they do that. That is amazing. That was a huge difference. I mean, that was
yeah. I mean, and that was, I think, over the course of the day. They set that in the morning. I didn't film that. I just stole it when I saw it.
Right.
They set that and split it up. And as the class went on, you saw that piece of granite. And I'll tell you, I had a granite project in Cary, North Carolina, and it had the I can't remember what you call it, but it's what the Empire State Building is made out of, the salt and pepper granite.
Oh, yeah. It's a U.S. stone.
Yeah, it's actually, they just shut the quarry down. It was like west of here by like 2 hours. Regardless, it was a ton of it. And we had in some areas like a 4-inch mud bed. And it was waterproofed underneath. So you had 4 inches of mud. You had thin set on top of that. And then you had the stone. It took 6 months for all of the water to hydrate through that stone.
So you're bringing up something I was thinking of, why this product, and if it is going to dry out eventually, what's the big deal? So besides the very off chance that there is some kind of reaction with something in the stone, But if you want to get paid at the end of a job and the customer comes in and it looks like
And,
hell,
yeah.
then and you're like, don't worry, it's gonna dry, and they
Yep.
don't. It's hard to believe because when
Yeah, because you don't know. I mean, it
you
depends
don't
on a
know,
lot of factors, air temperature, all
yeah,
that other things. And I remember every day that building manager was like, "You're going to tear it out. I know you are. I don't care. I can wait. I can wait." And finally, one week he didn't call me, and I was like, "It's over."
now once that thin set dries,
Hmm.
is it giving off any other benefit, like in a shower base? You know how sometimes if it gets wet underneath and it goes into the stone and you see the stone getting darker. I wonder if it prevents moisture transmission or is that once it
I don't
dries, it
think
doesn't
so,
matter?
but I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
this is all new stuff to me that I had never seen anything like this before. I know they have a few different materials that have that self-drying technology. I think they were all mortars. I don't know that they were any of their
All right, Craig,
other stuff.
here's a negative.
Okay.
So when someone does like incorrectly does a shower drain where the weep holes are filled and what's the typical sign that you see when someone does something wrong in a shower floor?
Yeah, the water ring
So
ring ring.
you see that stone, let's say around the drain, darker than the rest. If you
Mhm.
use this thin set, would it potentially mask that? It's possible,
Possibly, I
right?
guess.
Because
I don't know. These are all good questions. What we should do is we should invite William onto the podcast and
yeah,
ask him all these questions.
yeah, let's do that. That's
I
pretty cool.
mean,
So all you tile nerds out there, if you're still watching, you're a tile nerd.
that's right.
You could be a closet tile nerd. We're okay. So I know
That's right.
there's around 800,000 people watching, but nobody
That's
admits
right.
they
We won't
doesn't want
out you. We won't out you.
they don't want to click the like, they don't want to comment, they want to be just in the sidelines.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm telling you now, it's okay to come out of the I don't know van and say that
Yeah.
you're a tile nerd. And but yeah, if you're still watching, and speaking of watching, we are here, Craig, the Tile Happy. Usually every Tuesday, 8 o'clock. We're on all sorts of social media. It is Tuesday. It is the last week of September. October is right around the corner. And we have a lot of good episodes coming up. I don't know how many episodes we've done. We used to have a count, and we either got lazy or maybe we don't count that high. I'm not sure.
Well, we do have a count, but the count is on my external hard drive
All
that
right.
for some reason doesn't work with my new computer. I don't know, but it's in the 60s. We're
Got
in
it.
the 60s.
So next
We're
time,
almost able to collect our Social Security.
all right. Well, next time, I like that excuse. And next time management asks me for an answer I don't have, I'm gonna say, I have that answer. It's just on my external hard drive.
Exactly. And this
And
computer you got me doesn't
I'm
read it
sorry,
very
I just
well.
don't know. I can't. I gotta look it up. Get back
I
to you
think
tomorrow.
um in Verona the Cersei is happening currently, isn't it?
Yes.
Or is
So Cersei, CERSAIE, which is the trade organization that puts together the Italian show in Bologna, Italy, which is the best tile show in the world.
I've never been, so I don't know.
It is amazing. It's made up of multiple halls, they call them. So picture as a fairgrounds, Bologna Fairgrounds, and there's a picture like a sprawling office complex where there's multiple
Yeah.
buildings, but all connected with walkways and trees and benches in between, no cars.
Right.
Multiple buildings where, as you're walking down, say, the outdoor area, you'll see the building to your right, to your left, and you could just walk in. There's multiple doors, a lot of glass. There's a lot of a lot of the buildings are glass, so you could see in as you're walking through. There's only one or two buildings that have multiple floors. A lot of these are just single level, and
Right.
it's the best show. And
And we got a pretty large delegate there, don't we?
I heard we had a really large delegate there. I was just looking at a review of some must-see things at the Bologna.
Did the show start today, or was today a travel day? I don't know.
Yeah, I
Do
don't
you know?
actually dates in my brain, but
Yeah.
it's right around now. So we got a big team there, and it's an amazing show. So, the covering show in the United States is super important for our industry.
Yep.
But when you're a manufacturer and you're designing a new line, of course you can't always have things ready at just one time a year. But if you had a choice to launch something, you're typically launching it at Trasai, at this time of year, and then you're launching it, but you're really showing it in
And
the
at
US
coverings.
at coverings 6 months
Right.
later. But it's an amazing show. I got to check the timelines because my history about the covering shows.
That's right.
I was attending Trasai, not realizing when I went with my dad, I was 17 or 18 years old. I did not realize it was literally one of the first shows. And I did not know that. I got to check the dates.
See, my plans, I'm going to do the opposite of you. I'm going to go to the last show.
You're going to go to the
I'm going to go to the last show.
All right.
You get the front end, I'll get the back end.
But how do you know it's the last show?
I'll know. I just don't trust me. Just trust me. I'll know.
Yeah.
I'll know. But
you don't know what's coming around. Like when they had World War I, right? They didn't call it World War I because they didn't know there was going to be two. So you just call it the Great War or something, right?
That was right.
So
I'll know. Just Nostradamus here. I don't know what's going on. I'll know. I'll know, and all will be well. But yeah, so we got a lot coming up.
We have BDNY show coming up, Boutique Design New York, coming up at the Jacob Javits Center in New York City, and a lot of hotels, owners, developers.
It's a big hospitality show, correct?
Big hospitality show. Love that. That's kind of spins off of the HD Expo, which is in Vegas, which happened a few months ago. We had a phenomenal booth there. We have a great booth coming up at BDNY, so come and check out Tile Bar. I will be there. It's a 2-day show. I love that. It's like Sunday, Monday, wham, bam.
I know. I've never been to that. I was going to try to go this year. I had some things planned. They fell through, and so I'm not.
Yeah. You should definitely try to attend that one year. And you're coming to town in a few weeks.
I'll be there, and I'll be traveling with the Blanky team. So shout out to Christoph and Marcus, which I think Marcus today was his birth. No. Yesterday was his birthday.
Right.
And I think he's traveling to Germany. So be safe, Marcus. But those guys are going to be with me in the office. We're going to do some customer service training.
Cool.
And we're going to do a competition. Our team loves the competition.
Yeah.
And they're going to be setting tile and matching tile and trim in the at our Inwood corporate office. And there's going to be some really cool swag. I don't know and bragging rights as always.
We're kind of out of room at our corporate office, but I wish we had not a studio, but a workshop or something where we could.
I think we need to build up. Don't you think we can add another floor?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think we add a break room up there and a training room.
So our corporate office is on. So how we know if somebody tries to make believe they're from Long Island, they say the following phrase. They say, "Oh yeah, isn't that restaurant in Long Island?" No, it's not in Long Island. It's on Long Island. If you post something on social media and you happen to be talking about anything, and you happen to say it could be a very serious topic in Long Island, people jump on you, and start correcting you. But I know,
and from what I've seen in New York, they jump on you in many ways.
Exactly. So you're on Long Island. You're not in Long Island. But yeah, a lot going on in the industry. September is a busy month. September is winding down. October, and we're in the home stretch soon. It's been a great year for Tile Bar. Opening up a new warehouse facility, new sample departments, just
all sorts of stuff going on.
Blazing new trails, new products every minute, it seems, right?
Yes. We got a lot of technical products coming out. We just launched some Blanky shower shelves that are live now on our website. I think John's had some firsthand experience with those, which hopefully we'll be looking at that soon.
Let's do a show on that. I'll show you some of my bathroom renovations before and after, and we use some Blanky products, the Blanky corner shelves, plus the Blanky metal trim, And I could tell you the installer, who I've known for decades, opened up the Blanke corner shelf and he said, "Huh, wow, how do you just," and he called his 2 workers over, "Look at this." And they're all like, "Huh," shaking their head like, "Huh," they like loved it. And the best thing about it is typically they need to know ahead of time exactly where are you putting these corner dishes. Sometimes they have to cut into the wall. They have to call the owner or the designer or the homeowner. In my case, they just put the tile up. I knew where I wanted it when it was all done before it was grouted. I'm like, here, here, and here. They're like, no, how about here? And they put it in. No, how about here? It was amazing product.
Great.
Really, really good. Yeah, it's
Love it.
nice. Yeah, we'll show some pictures of that. Yeah, so this is the Tile Happy Hour. And the one bad thing, folks, is the Tile Happy Hour. The hour does come to an end. And we are at that point. And if you're still hanging in with us, we know you're a tile nerd. And we know
Colin and Samir will call this definitely the deep end. You've made it to the deep end.
Exactly. Unless you just happen to be like inebriated, don't know where you are. And you just came across and you're waiting for
that's okay. And if you are inebriated and all that, just keep hitting that like button.
They just heard happy hour. And they're like, all right, I'm in.
Keep clicking it.
Exactly. All right, Craig, look, good catching up with you. If you're out there in the webosphere out there, like us, share us, comment, tell us where you're watching from. If you're watching this on a rerun or an encore presentation, as we say in the industry, still comment, because Craig and we do get back to you.
Read them all.
Do. Yeah, we read them all. So this is John Tedisco. I'd like to wish everybody peace, health, and happiness.
All right. And I can't say it enough. Keep learning. If you're an installer, if you're a designer, if you're a sales professional, keep learning. There's always something new out there. Let's stay on top of it and make the best of it. And always tile the world.